Comisionada de Mujeres del Sureste. Voy a introducir el panel Leadership Development During Times of Adversity. La adversidad es un concepto subjetivo y personal. Lo importante es cómo cada individuo reacciona ante esta. Muchas veces, frente a la adversidad, resurgimos como líderes. Y ejemplo de esto lo estamos viviendo con la pandemia. Muchas personas han perdido sus empleos y han tenido que reinventarse y redirigirse a nuevas metas, sobre todo las mujeres que son el sustento de su hogar. Tenemos que aprender de la nueva realidad que estamos viviendo. Un líder tiene que tomar decisiones, ser creativo, ser flexible, saber adaptarse a las nuevas realidades, tener mente positiva y rodearse de gente que sumen, no que resten. El liderazgo es acción. Un líder es valiente y arriesgado y ayuda a la transformación y al cambio, siendo empático y comprensivo con las situaciones personales y emocionales de sus compañeros. Debemos recordar siempre que las mujeres, como líderes innata que somos, podemos mover al mundo, pero lo podemos detener también. Buenas tardes.
Good afternoon. Buenas tardes, everyone. My name is Jasmin Chavez, and I am the Virginia LULAC State Director and the Young Adults Representative for the LULAC Women's Commission. It is an honor to be introducing 3 amazing Latina women with inspirational stories of resilience. These 3 leaders have paved the way for young Latinas in this country. Our first panelist is Luz Arce. Luz Arce is a native of the town of Aguadilla from a humble family. Proud of having studied in the public schools of her hometown, she achieved her dream of completing a Bachelor of Arts with a concentration in English at the College of Agriculture and Mechanical Arts of Mayagüez. Then, she earned her certification in Public Housing Administration from Temple University in the city of Philadelphia. And as a legislator, she graduated from the Robert J. Thompson Leadership Academy at the Council of State Governments. Our second panelist today is Colonel Michelle M. Fraley. Colonel Michelle M. Fraley received her commission as a second lieutenant from the United States Military Academy and was the first female from Puerto Rico to graduate from West Point in 1984. She holds a Bachelor of Science degree with a concentration in Russian and German, a Master's in Business Administration, a Master's of Science in International Relations, a Master's of Arts in National Security and Strategic Studies, and a Doctor of Management in Organizational Leadership. Our third panelist is Linda Chavez. Linda Chavez was elected National Vice President of the Southwest in Milwaukee in July 2019. She has proudly served as the State Director and Deputy State Director for the state of Texas, as well as holding other state positions. She has devoted a lifetime to serving LULAC and would like to play a role in growing the organization, especially in the Southwest region. Thank you so much to our lovely panelists for joining us today.
Buenas tardes, good afternoon. My name is Sara Clemente, a proud Boricua, serving as the Director of Federal Affairs at LULAC, the League of United Latin American Citizens. And today, I am honored to serve as a moderator for the Leadership Development During Times of Adversity panel during the 2020 Women's Summit. Thank you so much to everyone for joining us. Our distinguished panels have a varied and diverse background and have graciously agreed to share their advice and expertise on the subject at hand. Our panel members are Linda Chavez, thank you, Linda, LULAC National Board Member, Vice President of the Southwest, Luz Ferrer, former Puerto Rico Senator and Majority Whip, thank you for joining us from Puerto Rico, Michelle Hernandez, the Fraley, retired Colonel, United States Army. Michelle, thank you so much for joining us as well. With the introductions made, let's begin. Let's begin our panel on leadership development during times of adversity. Our first panelist, Linda, I'll start with you. Linda, what do you believe is the key to surviving and excelling during times of adversity?
A lot of times, nosotros mismas, ourselves, hold ourselves back. We need to be able to set goals, meet those goals, and just, go forward. Like asking for money. I know that in business, women, especially Latino women, have a problem in asking for money, and also have a problem with doing a business plans, and what exactly do you need, how can you move forward, what exactly is it that you need to move forward, and what will help you. Many times nosotros mismas, our own selves, hold ourselves back. So I would say that just confront our fears and confront every obstacle that they put upon us and just move forward.
At this time, I would like to ask Michelle. Michelle, thank you again for joining us. Michelle, what tools do you believe Latinas should have or make sure they acquire to succeed, especially in times of adversity?
Latinas need to cultivate networking in the sense to establish relationships, in the businesses that they do, and establish relationships on, businesses that might be similar, but businesses that might complement what they're doing. And secondly, they need to establish diversity in that networking. So if you're in a business that it's used to doing things over the counter, you got to start thinking about using the use of technology, or maybe using, if you want to expand your distribution, who else is out there who can help you get to where you need to in terms of your products and services.
And now we have Mrs. Ferrer join us. Señora Ferrer, como usted sabe, hay tiempos buenos y hay tiempos difíciles. Usted como líder, y yo la conozco usted como líder en Puerto Rico, ¿qué opina sobre lo que se requiere de los líderes de hoy, especialmente en estos momentos tan difíciles por los que estamos pasando?
Y es una de las áreas que hemos tenido que aprender, hacer que otros vean la importancia de si no sabe, pues buscar la ayuda. Por ejemplo, los patronos, los pequeños patronos, no dominan muy bien, y muchas de las ayudas que han estado disponibles, pues todas las solicitudes hay que hacerlo a través de la tecnología existente, ya que las agencias tanto federales como estatales están cerradas. Y en esto es que los voluntarios hemos hecho la diferencia para sostener no solamente al ciudadano individualmente y a su familia, sino también a esos pequeños patronos que contra viento y marea están ayudando a sostener la economía y que no se sigan perdiendo empleos necesarios para nuestra gente.
Michelle, I'm coming back to you now. Michelle, the research firm Crunchbase points out Latinas in business face greater challenges in accessing capital. What is something Latinas can do to overcome that challenge?
So I think, if you really want to succeed in business and you really want to get started, one of the techniques or strategies that you can use is partnering with somebody who has already a better access for capital. And in that partnership, then you have a chance to establish yourself, to make a name for yourself, and in the future, probably then, go on your own with that access that you have already established when you use, your partner at the beginning. And that has worked quite well for some folks in the study that Crunchbase published. And they have a few examples on how some Latino women have gone into partnerships initially, and then after that, they're well established. They have their name is known, and then they go on their own with that access to capital.
Linda, the next question is for you. Linda, what do you see as being essential to succeed, especially Latina business owners?
Well, I strongly recommend that business owners, Latina business owners, develop a network. You always know somebody that knows somebody. In other words, when you develop that network, you can always call someone. If you're failing at something, call someone that you know has been successful. You know, in other words, you reach out to that network. And that's why I can't emphasize enough, you know, about how strong LULAC is as far as networking. It's like in all the exhibit halls, you know, you have hundreds of businesses exhibiting their product. You have hundreds of people that you meet during these conventions. And so I strongly recommend that if you are facing adversity, if you are facing difficulty, reach out to that network. That's what I've done my entire adult life.
Señora Ferrer, sabemos que el acceso a capital es difícil, especialmente para nuestra comunidad. ¿Qué pueden hacer las empresarias latinas para que se le haga menos difícil el acceso a capital ahora y en el futuro?
En el caso nuestro, por ejemplo, nuestra experiencia en Puerto Rico ha sido maximizar a través de organizaciones sin fines de lucro para apoyar la inserción de las féminas en este desarrollo. Se están dando adiestramiento a través de la Cámara de Comercio, el Centro Unido de Detallistas, y hemos sido parte de esas oportunidades, aprovechando también los seminarios que LULAC nos ha ofrecido como herramienta para poder tender la mano a todo aquel que solicita nuestro servicio. Y en el caso personal, desde el Senado de Puerto Rico hemos sido viabilizados de que personas que no les llega la información dónde buscar la ayuda, pues podamos darle esa mano amiga para que puedan accesar a la misma.
Linda, the next question is for you. And I think it's something very important, and a lot of women may be interested in the answer to this question. What advice do you have for women who are worried about neglecting their family because of their dedication to advocacy work? I need to know, or I'm curious to know, how do you manage and handle it?
And so what I always manage to do many times is bring my family along. Bring my family along because at the same time, you're developing their leadership skills. They're learning at the same time that you are. So whenever I felt like I'm going back to the same thing, whenever I confronted a city council, a school board, I stood there and addressed my issues with them, but I wasn't standing there alone. I had an entire national organization standing behind me. They were right there. I knew that LULAC was national, and so I go back to that. But bring your family along with you, and that keeps you from neglecting your family. And so I know that LULAC has taken a lot of my time throughout my years. Like I said, I've been a member for 38 and a half years. And so I've tried to get my family involved in everything that LULAC does.
Señora Ferrer, la próxima pregunta es para usted. ¿Podría decirme qué esfuerzos debemos hacer como líderes latinas, especialmente durante estos tiempos de adversidad?
Si nosotros como latinos nos mantenemos ocupados en tender la mano a no importa de dónde vengamos, de Puerto Rico, de México, de Venezuela, de Panamá, de Honduras, de Guatemala. A la hora de la verdad, todos somos hermanos y hermanas que tenemos que seguir unidos y seguir fomentando que cada día nuestros jóvenes se eduquen, se preparen más, no solamente para tener un beneficio personal, sino para continuar ayudando y servir a nuestras comunidades y dando el ejemplo de que cuando queremos, podemos, que si es bien necesario que demos esa oportunidad a todo el mundo por igual, más allá de raza, de color y de credo, y que actuemos como una fuerza común para poder alcanzar nuestras metas.
Michelle, I know you're a West Point graduate and a decorated retired officer of the Army. Through those experiences, you were trained to prepare in advance to confront adversity. So I'd like to know, and I'm curious to know, how do you handle that possibility now?
And in my example, I always think about what would happen, if I, lost, the mobility of my legs. Well, then I say, I'm not going to panic. Why? Because I play piano. And so I see myself, if something like that happened, I wouldn't see myself as an invalid, but I would say, okay, now then maybe I will turn into being a piano teacher. Okay, which is something that I've never done in my life, but I know that I have the capability because I played piano since I was in first grade. And so, life takes a different view if you prepare yourself for adversity and do all these what if cases, before things happen. Technology is another one. A lot of people are used to doing face-to-face business. And if you have never had to have relationships using, a virtual world, well, that might become, chaotic. In my case, again, because the nature of being deployed, using FaceTime and other tools, to keep a relationship with my family, was not something foreign. It was something that I had done, and granted under different circumstances because of deployments. But now, my two brothers who live here in Puerto Rico, I haven't seen them, but I do FaceTime with them. And, we laugh and continue to do the same, maybe a little bit different, but, we stay connected.
Señora Ferrer, la próxima pregunta es para usted. ¿Qué consejo le daría usted a líderes y a mujeres de negocio para prepararse a enfrentar tiempos difíciles?
Tenemos que perder el miedo, que podemos ser buenas profesionales, podemos ser buenas madres, pero sobre todo buenas ciudadanas que podamos darnos la mano una a otra. Yo creo que ahí es donde va a estar la diferencia y maximizar y enfatizar en el uso de esa tecnología. Hoy en día tan importante es un plomero, como puede ser un mecánico, como puede ser un carpintero, como puede ser un doctor, una enfermera, una secretaria, que aquí hay espacio para todos y para todos. Grandes retos, pero también grandes oportunidades.
Linda, the next question is for you. I realize that you have mentioned that networking is very important. Important for Latinas, for anyone to succeed. But I'm curious to see what you have to say in terms of what else must we do to persevere for the long term, especially now in these times of adversity that we're living.
You need to make up your mind and confront every single obstacle that's placed upon you. It's like, and don't be afraid. We're a very humble, somos bien humilde. And so sometimes our own culture holds us back. You've got to be a little, I don't like to use the word aggressive, but sometimes it takes aggressiveness for you to move forward. Don't be afraid. Go and confront whatever your obstacle is that's holding you back. Confront it. And, I've always been able to do that. So no tengo miedo. I'm not afraid. I just confront the issue and move forward.
Michelle, the next question is for you. What has your life experience taught you about the nature of adversity and how to confront it?
So, when you look at adversity, there are different types of adversity. You have physical, you have mental, emotional, financial. And I think probably the most difficult one is mental and emotional adversity. You can argue that mental adversity, there are some outside resources that you can use for that. But emotional adversity is something that you have to learn to work and deal with because it's very difficult to seek for an answer, outside of yourself. And there are no book solutions for that. It's all up to you, and you got to find ways to channel that emotional adversity.
La próxima pregunta es para usted, señora Ferrer. Señora Ferrer, para ser líder hay que tener ciertas destrezas o características, eso lo sabemos. De esas destrezas o características tuyas, ¿cuál diría usted que es la más que le ha ayudado y sería útil para otras líderes latinas enfrentando retos?
Yo creo que el reto más importante, yo vengo de una familia numerosa, mis papás con poca escolaridad, mi mamá nunca fue a la escuela, sin embargo se ocupó de que yo a los 4 años ya aprendí a leer, y el reto y la oportunidad más grande fue cuando, faltando mi papá, fue mi mamá quien no sabía leer, no sabía escribir. Sin embargo, se convirtió en una empresaria, creó su taller de costura y ya tuve la oportunidad de practicar con ella el pan de la enseñanza, enseñándola a leer y escribir. Yo creo que eso fue la experiencia más impactante en mi vida, venir de una familia pobre, pero grande de espíritu, de que no, quizás mis hermanos y mis hermanas no tuvieron la oportunidad de ir a una universidad. La única de los 11 hermanos que pude llegar a adquirir un grado universitario fue esta servidora, sin embargo con el apoyo de ellos para poder seguir adelante. Y por eso creo que la educación es la llave para poder ayudarnos nosotros mismos, ayudar a nuestras familias a alcanzar como pueblo todas nuestras metas. Y aquí hay campo y hay oportunidades para todos. Yo en el caso de exhorto a todas y a todas, nunca es tarde para aprender. Y por eso tenemos que ver, y me encanta cuando voy a otros países y puedo llevar ese mismo mensaje. No importa las condiciones económicas que tengamos, aprovechemos cualquier oportunidad que te lleve a aprender y enseñar a otros. Ahí va a estar la diferencia si queremos un mundo en paz. No puede haber paz cuando no hay igualdad de oportunidades. Puede haber paz cuando solamente se piensa en desarrollo económico. Desarrollo económico tiene que ser para la gente, por eso siempre me gusta hablar de desarrollo socioeconómico. Y para adquirir esto y hacer ese balance, la llave es la educación.
Michelle, let me come back to you. Please share with us personal skills or traits that you credit most for where you are today, that help you get where you are today.
So I have to go back, to 1994. I was relinquishing command of my second company when my battalion commander presents me a plaque. And this plaque has a quote from former President Calvin Coolidge. And I keep that plaque because when he presented this to me, it didn't dawn on me that I had all of a sudden realized that my battalion commander was recognizing the two traits that probably have made me succeed in being the first Puerto Rican woman to go to West Point, later on to be the first superintendent female, and I should correct myself, first Puerto Rican female to be accepted and graduated from West Point, and first Puerto Rican woman to be in the position of superintendent. here in Puerto Rico. And those two traits are persistence and determination. He gave it to me on that quote from former President Coolidge. And, I read that every time that I go through something in life. My husband paints it a little bit different. He says that I like to cross creeks that have alligators. And in a way, he's basically saying the same thing, determination and persistence to get to the other side of the creek, regardless of what you find in between. And so I have found those two traits as being the key to my success. That's not to say that for somebody else, it might be something else. But persistence and determination are something that are very important because we encounter so many obstacles in our lives, but if you really believe in what you're doing, persistence and determination is what's going to get you to the other end of the creek, as my husband describes it.
Linda, I'm coming back to you. So far, you've shared many of your personal lessons learned, which we greatly appreciate. It's been very valuable. But tell us, besides having ganas, what other characteristics should we Latinas have to succeed? Which ones stand out the most to you?
I would describe it with one word: resilience. No me doy. I don't give up. I keep going. I keep moving forward. I keep moving forward. I don't give up. Resilience. And of course, you have to resist a lot of obstacles, but resilience, I would say, is and the fact that I'm very sometimes aggressive.
Señora Ferrer, la próxima pregunta es para usted. ¿Qué se requiere para ser una buena líder en estos tiempos? Porque como sabe, estamos pasando por unos tiempos difíciles.
El líder es el ejemplo. El líder es aquel que sin tener que usar el látigo ni el grito, es el modelo para que otros puedan llegar a subir ese escalón que es tan necesario. El líder es aquel que es firme, pero compasivo. El líder es aquel que no se vanagloria de las posiciones que ocupa, sino que se convierte en el eje para que otros vean la oportunidad. Si ella pudo, ¿por qué yo no? Ese es el tipo de líder que el mundo, que los latinos necesitamos.
Michelle, the next question is for you. And I'm curious, are there different skill sets needed in leadership development depending on our roles?
You recall the famous actor named Eastwood in Gunny Highway, Heartbreak Ridge, made them very famous, which is improvise, adapt, and overcome. And those are three things that you got to do in your personal life, professional life, in your retirement life. And they're common traits that are force multipliers regardless of where you are also in your life, whether in your 20s, in your 40s, or like in my case, 50s, reaching 60s. Those three things on improvising, overcoming, and adapting have been very valuable to get ahead in life.
Linda. What moment or action makes you proudest of how you have faced adversity and succeeded? We're very interested in knowing how you handle that.
Look, at what I feel very, very proud, elated about is our young people. I have always taken one or two of the LULAC members that are in the college students, the collegiate, what they call collegiate students that have become members of the organization. I have taken 2, 3 persons under my wing and watch how they flourish. I used to, I brag about Rebecca Acuña. Rebecca Acuña was a UT student when she and two other ladies here, Monse Garibay and Julieta Garibay. They become excellent leaders, great leaders. Monse is the secretary of AFL-CIO in Texas. Rebecca was the chairman of United We Dream. Rebecca Cunha was the head of Joe Biden's, our president-elect. She ran the campaign in Texas. So, those are three of the girls that I mentored when they were here going to the University of Texas.
Señora Ferrer, la próxima pregunta es para usted. ¿Qué consejo se le da a esa mujer que hoy aún todavía duda en sí misma? Sabemos que vemos muchas mujeres así, y qué consejo le debemos dar para que no duden de su talento.
Oportunidad. Date tú misma esa oportunidad. Tienes que perder el miedo. El mundo es un mundo lleno, como hemos dicho a través de esta entrevista, de retos, pero de oportunidades. Oportunidades que quizá tú no soñabas, pero no podemos quedarnos soñando. Esas oportunidades se tienen que convertir en realidades. De los sueños pasar esa realidad de día a día que tú aspiras, no solamente para alcanzar tus metas, sino para seguir de escalón, para que otros y otras consigan esas mismas oportunidades, esas mismas metas. Mi exhortación es prepárate, edúcate y comparte los dones que recibes día a día.
Linda, the next question is yours. I'm going to stop picking on you at this moment because at this point, I'm going to ask you for your closing thoughts.
Well, Linda Chavez has been involved in community organizing for 39, 40 years. And so I've been a plaintiff in single member district lawsuits several times, not just once. And so, I believe, like I said, everything evolves around politics, everything that you do. So when we have the opportunity to equalize the politics in our state of Texas, the legacy that I want to leave behind is that Linda Chavez helped make Texas blue. And I know LULAC is not a partisan organization, but I'm a Democrat. I bleed Democrat. And so, it's like, I know LULAC is nonpartisan. And so I never used the organization in my partisan politics. So I want to say Linda Chavez, she made her mark. She lived a happy life and she left her mark behind. She helped make Texas blue.
Michelle, we're coming to an end. So I'm going to ask you the last question for this panel. Give us your final thoughts and advice to our Latina sisters watching today.
Persistence and determination are very important. You got to believe in yourself. And if you have a goal, persistence and determination are going to get you there. On the other hand, there are things that you don't control, and create those adversities, whether they're physical, emotional, mental, financial. And in order to overcome that, don't wait until the adversities come to you. You need to think about all these adversities and how you're going to overcome that, how you're going to become a multitask type person. Don't just concentrate on one thing. Explore other things so that at the time of adversity, you have some options, because those options are going to allow you to improvise, to overcome, and adapt, which are very important in the times that we're living. Thank you.
To all who participated, we want to thank you for participating and joining us with this panel. A special thank you to our panelists, Luz Ferrer, former Puerto Rico Senator Majority Whip, retired Colonel and Superintendent of Puerto Rico, Michelle Hernandez de Fraley, and LULAC National Board Member, Vice President for the Southwest, Linda Chavez. We especially want to thank you for making today's panel discussion a success. And I want to encourage you to visit lulac.org/Women's Summit and join us in all of next year's LULAC activities. Feliz Navidad y muchas gracias.